Hi, and thank you for joining me today. Please begin standing at the top of your mat. Root firmly down through both feet, pressing the toes, the heels into the ground, bringing both palms to your heart, pressing the palms and fingertips together firmly, and keeping the gaze ahead of the fingers or down towards the ground. You'll lengthen through top or crown of head, and continue a breath in and out through the nostrils. Simply release both palms to your sides. And expand the chest on inhale, drawing shoulder blades together. On exhale, you'll release and round forwards. Inhale, open the chest, bring the shoulder blades together. Exhale, release. Inhale, expand the chest, shoulder blades come together, and exhale, release. On your next inhale, lift the palms and gaze. Bend the elbows so the palms come in towards the face, and then exhale, release the palms in front of the heart. Inhale, draw arms overhead, bend elbows, palms join towards the face. Exhale, release the palms back to the heart. Inhale, arms overhead, elbows bend, palms come toward the face. And exhale, release palms to heart center. Inhale, lengthen arms overhead. Exhale, bend from the hips to fold forward. Lift halfway on inhale to a flat back. Exhale, plant the palms. And step back with the left foot, the right foot joining down to both knees, and exhale, chest to the ground. Elbows hug in as you inhale up, baby cobra, and exhale back to child's pose. Bottom comes towards the heels. As you inhale up, come to a tabletop position, cow tilt, belly comes down, head and hips rise. On exhale, round the back into cat. Inhale, allow the hips to sink forwards, expand the chest, and exhale back to child's pose, balasana. As you inhale, come back up through your tabletop position, curl the toes under and press back to downward facing dog. Finding a nice length in the spine, nice long arms, pressing again firmly through both palms and all 10 fingers. On your exhale, bend the knees and look ahead, come to the top of the mat, lifting halfway on inhale. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, slowly rise to standing, lifting palms overhead, and exhale back down to heart. Inhale, lift the palms and gaze. Exhale, bend from the hips to fold forward. Inhale, halfway looking ahead. Exhale, plant the palms, step back. Right leg, the left leg down to both knees, and then shift the weight forward down to the ground on exhale. Elbows hug in, expand the chest into a low cobra, and exhale back to child's pose or balasana. Inhale, lift forward, cow tilt, head and hips rise. Exhale, cat pose, the back rounds. Inhale, expand the chest, drop the hips towards the ground, lift the feet, and exhale back to child's pose or balasana. Make sure to relax the head, neck, and shoulders. On the inhale, again, rise and curl the toes under. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pressing firmly through both palms, straightening the legs if you can, or keeping a small bend if legs aren't warm. Next, exhale, bend the knees, look ahead, travel the top of mat, lifting halfway on inhale. Exhale, head folds to shins. Inhale, slowly rise to standing, lift the palms. Exhale, send palms to heart center. Step to the top of the mat, lift the shoulders to the ears, exhale them around, down and back. Give a turn to the right, gazing over right shoulder, inhale to the center. Turn to your left, gazing over left shoulder. Interlace all 10 fingers, arms behind the back, expanding the chest, maybe small back bend as you rise or look up. And then bend the knees here, so chair pose with the arms bound behind. Make sure the tailbone is pointing down here, that the low back isn't rounded. And then release back up to standing, palms to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bend to fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway, look ahead. Exhale, plant the palms, step back with both feet to a plank position. Exhale, travel high to low. Inhale, expand the chest, gaze up if you can, and exhale back, downward facing dog. Again, a nice lengthened spine. The shoulders are relaxed from the ears. Knees can be bent or legs can be straight. Heels do not have to touch. Feet are about hips distance apart. And then just slowly walk with both feet up towards your forward fold. Inhaling halfway to look ahead. Exhale, fold. This time on your fold, you'll bend the knees and wrap the arms behind the legs or under the knees, seeing if you can grab the elbows. On your inhale, you'll straighten the legs, keeping the bind, and exhale, then bend the knees and sit, keeping the bind with the bottom towards the ground in a squat. Inhale, straighten the legs, keep the arms bound, and then release the hands to the ground, lift halfway on inhale. Exhale, release the head to the shins as you fold. Inhale, rise slowly to standing, lift palms and gaze up, and exhale, palms and gaze to heart. From here, you'll shift the weight into the left foot, bending the left knee slightly. Just make a few circles with the right knee, leg, or hip. You'll root firmly through the left foot, keeping a small bend to the left knee, and bring the right knee up towards the chest. You can bring the arms around the knee for support, or you can extend in a dancer pose, allowing that right knee to come behind as the right hand wraps around the right foot and left arm extends in front of you. The right foot kicks back up and away into the right hand, and then release back, bringing the knee in front of the chest again, arms around the knee. From there, you'll cross the right leg over the left leg to eagle legs, and the right arm under the left arm into eagle arms. You can feel free to keep your right toes connected to the ground for support. You're making sure the tailbone points down and the shoulders are stacked over hips. Elbows draw away from the body and hands lift. As you unwind, release the arms, release the right leg back and behind to dancer pose once more. Pressing the right foot into the right hand, left arm extended in front of you. Small bend to the left knee. And then release the right foot to the ground. Inhale, both arms overhead. Exhale, bend forwards to fold. Lift halfway on inhale, look ahead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly rise back to standing, root through heels as palms lift. And exhale, lower the palms to heart center. This time you'll shift the weight into the right foot, bending the right knee slightly. Go ahead then and bring the left knee up towards the chest, bending it. You can bring both fingers to interlace around that knee. Make sure if you need, you can make a circle or two with the knee first. Making sure the weight is nice and firm in the right foot. The right knee bends. You'll extend that left leg behind, bending the left knee, grabbing the left hand, or left foot with left hand rather, to dancer pose. Right arm extends out in front of you. And then slowly you'll release back through standing. Bring that left knee back in front of you towards the chest. And then cross the left foot over the right foot. Both knees are bent into eagle legs. And the left arm under the right arm into eagle arms, keeping shoulders stacked over the hips. Elbows drawn away from you and hands lift upwards. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Release the arms. Once more, you'll uncross the left leg and bring the left knee to bend back into that dancer pose. Left foot into left hand, kicking back up and away. And then release back to standing. Inhale, lift both arms overhead. Exhale, bend to fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, flatten the back. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to plank position. Exhale, travel high to low, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, expand the chest, upward dog, and exhale, back, downward facing dog. Make sure you have a nice length in the spine. The hips travel away from the hands, creating extra space for air. Keeping the tailbone nice and high. And then you'll shift the weight forward back to a plank position and soften down to both knees, untucking the toes so the tops of feet are to the ground. We'll keep both hands underneath the shoulders and just expand the chest for a moment, sort of modified high cobra. And then release back into child's pose, relaxing the bottom towards the heels and the shoulders, head and neck. Allow the air to come in through the nose, release through the nose. As you inhale once more, come back up to a tabletop position, curl the toes under, press back to downward facing dog. On the next exhale, drop the left heel, step the right foot forward into a warrior one position, interlacing all 10 fingers, but releasing the pointers. Inhale to lengthen through the pointer fingers, and exhale, release the hands towards the ground. Inhale, lifting again, arms overhead, open the arms, expand the chest, and exhale, bring both palms to heart center. So warrior one, legs here, palms to heart center. And then bring that left arm underneath the right arm, eagle arms, coming into a back bend if you like. And then again, releasing both palms to heart center. Inhale, send both arms overhead. Exhale, release the palms to the ground, framing that front right foot. And press back to downward facing dog, lifting the right leg skyward. Exhale, set the right leg down. Drop the right heel, step the left foot forwards to warrior one stance, lifting both arms on inhale. Hips face forward, you'll interlace all 10 fingers, releasing the pointers together. Lengthen through the pointers on inhale. And exhale, bend from the hips to fold forward over that front leg or knee. Maybe the hands graze the mat. Inhale, lift back up, release the arms, expand the chest, maybe bend back. And then release both palms to heart center. From here, the right arm will come underneath the left arm, eagle arms, elbows draw away and arms up. Again, you can bend back if you like. The belly pulls into the spine. Then you'll bring the chest back to a neutral position. Inhale, lift both arms overhead. Exhale, plant the palms to the ground. Send your weight back to downward facing dog. Three-legged dog as left leg lifts. Then exhale, return to regular down dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Bend the right knee, and just make a few circles with the right hip. And then exhale, pulse the right knee in towards the chest, cross the right foot over the left, and open to side plank. Right wrist under right shoulder, left arm is skyward. Here in side plank or Vasisthasana, you're pulling the belly into the spine and keeping the hips lifted. On your exhale, release both palms. Come back to the downward facing dog, lifting that right leg skyward. And then release right leg to the ground. Inhale, lift left leg skyward, bend the left knee, opening the hip or making a few circles with the left leg. Then swing the left knee into the chest, crossing the right leg over the left wrist under left shoulder. Inhale, right arm skyward. Side plank on the opposite side. Again, belly draws in, into the spine. Press into the wrist and the fingertips in the left hand. And then exhale, release right hand back to the ground. Release back to that downward facing dog, lifting the left leg skyward, bending the left knee. And then back to downward facing dog. On your exhale, you'll soften down to both knees, coming into a tabletop position on the mat. From here, you'll lift the left leg and the right arm. And see if you can create a bind, bending the left knee and bringing the right hand towards the left foot. Sort of like dancer pose, making sure to keep nice and balanced. You'll release the left leg out in front of you, right arm in front of you, and then release them both down to the ground, tabletop position. Switching sides, you'll lift the right leg and left arm, and then bend the right knee. See if you can use the left hand to bind or connect to that right leg. Kicking back up and away like dancer pose. And then releasing the leg and arm in front of you. And then back down to the ground to tabletop position. From here, you'll bring both feet towards the ceiling. Allow the hips to sink forward. And just allow the upper body to sort of lightly twist, bringing a stretch to the front of both hips. And then round the back into your cat position. Inhale to cow tilt. Round the back into cat position. Inhale, cow tilt, head and hips rise. Exhale into cat, back rounds. Inhale once more, cow tilt. And exhale, round the back into cat. Curl the toes under this time and exhale, press back to downward facing dog. On the next exhale, bend the knees and look ahead, jump to the top of the mat. Inhale halfway, exhale to fold. Inhale, slowly rise to standing. Lift the palms overhead and exhale to send palms to heart center. So from your standing position, you'll again shift the weight into the left foot, bringing a slight bend to the left knee, bringing the right knee up into the chest, wrapping the hands around the knee. You'll then kick back to a warrior three, sending the right foot behind, bodies parallel to the ground, small bend to the left knee, and slowly set the right foot down at the back of the mat, pressing through the back right heel to a high crescent lunge, lifting the arms on inhale. Left knee is over the left ankle. And then slowly drop down the right knee to the ground. Take a back bend if you like. And then release both arms to frame that left foot. And bringing a stretch to the front right hip here. Keeping the chest sort of lifted. We'll keep the left knee over the left ankle. Bring both palms into prayer. And bring that right elbow outside of the left knee. Twisted side angle pose. Press both palms together, opening the chest. And then exhale, release both hands again to frame that left foot. And then you'll find your way up to the top of the mat into a squat. So just come into a squat, making sure the feet are separated, toes point out. The bottom lowers towards the ground. The hands come inside the knees, palms together. Just trying to relax the glutes. Release both palms to the ground. Send the bottom up towards the sky. Straight legs. Inhale halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, slowly rise to standing. And exhale, send palms to heart center. Shift the weight into the right foot this time, bending the right knee slightly, pulling the left knee into the chest. Find your center, pull the belly into the spine, hands into prayer, and then kick back to warrior three. Left leg comes behind parallel to the ground, pointing the left toes down. Keeping that bend of the right knee over the right ankle, slowly set the left foot down, keeping the left heel off the mat. Hips face forwards. Inhale, both arms overhead, high lunge. Maybe a back bend. Coming back to the center if you've been back, then you'll just very slowly lower down to the left knee, untucking the left toes. And allowing the hands to release to the ground either side of that right foot. Relax the hips here, allowing the hips to sink forward, feeling a stretch in the front left hip. Just keeping gaze ahead. Chest sort of lifted over the leg. Try not to collapse into the leg, rather the front right knee. On your inhale, lift the upper body, bringing both palms to the heart center, and then release the left elbow outside the right knee, twisting to the right, opening right shoulder skyward. And as you exhale, release both hands to the ground, curl the back toes under. And again, find your way back up to the top of the mat. Inhaling halfway to flatten the back. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, rise to standing. And exhale, send palms to heart. Inhale, lift arms overhead. Exhale, bend from the hips to fold forward. Inhale to lift halfway, gaze ahead. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to plank position, but drop down to both knees. Keep the elbows close to body, lower the body down to the ground. Exhale to push up. Inhale to lower. Exhale to push up. You can take a full push up if you like, taking a few more, lowering from the knees or from the feet fully extended. Once you complete your push-ups, exhale back to Balasana or Child's Pose. Feel free to widen the knees apart for greater space. Keep the arms in front of you if you like, or if it's more comfortable, arms can come behind towards the feet. Take a full breath in through the nose, allow the air to enter and fill the whole body, backs of lungs. And exhale, release the air. On your next inhale, you'll rise up to a seated position, bringing the sit bones to the ground and both soles of feet together. You'll wrap the hands around the feet, and then you'll allow both knees to come wide. You can remain in a seated position if that's enough of an opening in the hips, or you can use the elbows to assist the shins or thighs towards the ground. Make sure that the shoulders are not rounding here or creeping up towards the ears. Really using the work in the hands or forearms to open the legs. Inhale, bring both knees back up towards each other and extend both feet out in front of you. You'll then bend the right knee and place the right foot or leg behind you, bringing the top of foot to the ground. Inhale, both arms overhead, and exhale, extend the arms over that left leg in front of you. Be sure the left leg stays connected to the ground and the toes face the ceiling or sky. Shoulders stay relaxed from the ears. Continuing to always keep smooth breath in and out through the nose. On your inhale, you'll rise up to your seated position, untuck that right leg, extending both legs in front of you, and then switch sides, bending that left knee, bringing the left knee and foot behind. Bring the top of your left foot to the ground. Inhale, both arms overhead, lift up, out and away as you fold over that right leg. So you're lifting up and extending out of the pelvis as you come forward, keeping that right leg connected to the ground as you fold over it. Again, make sure the shoulders don't creep up to the ears. I'm going to relax them. I'm going to make sure that the toes, right toes face up. And take a few slow and even breaths. As you do come back up on your next inhale, you'll lift back up, come to a seated position, and then just allow the body to come down onto the back. And then you'll release the soles of feet to the ground, but then lift the right foot off the ground, bringing the right foot towards the chest, crossing it over the body. And if possible, lifting the left knee to support that right leg. So sort of a reclined or supine pigeon pose here. You can use the hands connecting to the right leg or foot, or completely release the hands if you like. You're just holding both legs in one place. You should feel some resistance, but no pain. And then you'll just release both legs slowly, maybe make a few windshield wipers to soften the hips. And then switching sides, you'll bring that left foot across the right leg or right thigh. You can hold the leg or both legs with your hands or release. Again, you can use that right thigh to support the left ankle or foot. And you'll make sure that you do feel some resistance, but no pain once again. Trying to hold still if possible, keeping a nice smooth breath. And then releasing both feet back to the ground. And from here, if it's in your practice, coming into a supported shoulder stand. If not, you can feel free to keep the back flat on the ground and the feet skyward. Otherwise, in a shoulder stand, you'll bring the elbows in towards the ribcage and lift the hips and bottom off the ground, supporting the hips with the hands. You can also move slowly into a plow position, allowing the feet to come overhead, but making sure to release the hands to the ground for support, always keeping the gaze up. So whether you're in plow or shoulder stand or on the back with the feet or legs up, take a moment to finish your last breath or so, wherever you were. And when you slowly come down, slowly find your way back down to the back and bring both knees towards the chest and drop them to the right side of body to a reclining twist, turning the gaze to the left, arms to the sides. And then slowly bring the legs back to the center and then over the left side of the body. So you're bending the knees at about a 90-degree angle and releasing them to the left side of the body as gaze turns right. Arms are relaxed at your sides. Take a full and deep breath. And then once more, as you inhale next, bring both the knees back into the chest. And then slowly release the legs towards the end of the mat or your space, allowing the legs to fall apart or fall open, the ankles to fall open as well. For the next several moments, you'll try to allow the body to relax as best you can, allowing the eyelids to feel heavy or close, releasing the jaw. You can keep the hands or arms relaxed at the sides, keeping the palms faced up for a more receptive feeling, or flipping the palms down to feel more centered or grounded. It might also feel nice to place one hand on the belly or one hand on the chest. Relaxing as best you can. Again, you'll allow the air to enter through the nose with ease, release through the nose with ease. If it helps to focus, you might pay attention to the rise in the belly on your inhale and the fall in your belly on the exhale. As you breathe in, creating greater space in the body. And as you exhale, releasing anything not needed in that space. Slowly begin to prepare for movement, maybe finding movement in the fingers or the toes, bringing awareness back to the body. You might roll over to one side and just relax for a moment on your side, keeping the eyes closed. And very slowly, keeping eyes closed if you can, find your way up to a seated position, bringing the legs into a cross if possible. Stacking the shoulders over the hips, keeping the hands relaxed in the lap. Quietly acknowledging your practice, the time that you make for yourself. Bringing both palms to the heart. Bowing the head to the hands. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.